Hello, I'm the Big O, Jerry Ostrowski, and welcome to Overreaction Buffalo Daily, a daily content show where we will give you the latest news on the Buffalo Bills and everything that is happening at One Bills Drive. NFL top 30 visits continued today at One Bills Drive as the Bills brought in Texas running back Jaydon Blue. Jaydon Blue is a player that they talked to at the Combine. They brought him in on one of their top 30 visits today at One Bills Drive. He's 5'9", 196 pounds. He ran a 4.36 40-yard dash. He has quick, agile feet, flexible athlete, can turn on a dime. He makes a lot of people miss in the open field. His top end speed is elite, which allows him to run true sweeps or stretch plays. Not much of a zone runner. He's not a true zone runner. He lacks that tempo, that vision, that patience to hop behind blocks, but he's a slasher. And he does lack a little lower half size and strength. Because of that, he doesn't break many tackles. But the thing about Blue is his value lies in his ability to make big plays in the passing game. A running back that can make plays in the passing game. He creates huge mismatches versus linebackers running wheel routes, angle routes, and all that stuff. He does extremely well. Was a big-time playmaker in the passing game for the Longhorns this year. And if you listen to his attributes, similar to James Cook, this is a guy in Jaydon Blue who's rated as a top 3-round guy. I figure he's a second-day guy, second, maybe lower half of the second round, third-round guy. And, you know, I was thinking here at Overreaction Buffalo Daily, you know, you're thinking there's only 30 key visits that you can bring in before the draft. The draft is now 9 days away. And the Bills have decided to use one of their key visits on a running back, as we talked about earlier, projected to go no later than the third round, which made me ask myself this. What does something like this ultimately mean for the status of James Cook? And it's amazing to me that we're sitting here talking about this situation. But as you know, James Cook let it be known after the season through social media how much money he wanted a season. He wants at least $15 million a season. When you look at James Cook, a back that accounted for less than 50% of the snaps, which really doesn't bother me. That's not something that bothers me. Personally, I think that's smart to not pound your running backs, your big playmakers, especially when you have guys on the bench like Johnson and Ray Davis and others. But if it got me thinking, I was pretty sure that it got others thinking as well. So I did a little bit of digging, found yardbarker.com, really good publication. They write about all of the major professional sports leagues, quality writing by their writers. And Ralph Ventry actually wrote an article today on yardbarker.com that says, does the Bills' NFL dream draft scenario revolve around trading James Cook? Ventry wrote this: fast forward to the present day. Cook has only one season left on his rookie deal, and the prospects of a contract extension seem tenuous at best. The two-time Pro Bowler wants $15+ million annually, and the Bills apparently have no interest in going that high. I think it was pretty safe to say when Christian Benford got his deal, Terrell Bernard got his deal, and Groot got his deal, that the Cook extension at that amount of money is not team-friendly and not something that Brandon Beane and others were really chomping at the bit to get done. If you look at this Bills team, and we'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow here on the Big O Show, I think the next contract extension up is probably Connor McGovern, a guy that's come in. The plan that the Bills had for him has been top-notch. It's worked out perfectly. And now you've got a center, a younger center with Josh Allen. They've got a great relationship. To me, it would be much more important to tie him up than to spend 15 plus annually on a back that can't play on third down because he can't pass pro very well. Also in SI, Gilberto Manzano, who writes for SI, he also had an article today about the Bills and NFL draft dream scenarios. He actually had a dream scenario for every team in the NFL, all 32 teams. He says this: Cook was instrumental in the success of Josh Allen that he had last season, but he's not on the level of Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and Christian McCaffrey to command a contract worth around $15 million per year. With a high asking price and depth at running back in the draft, Buffalo would jump at the opportunity to flip Cook for a third-round pick. Now, that being said, I think we've talked about it on this show, talked about it Sunday. To me, anyway, a vital piece like James Cook, you can let him play out the contract. If he moves on, you get at least a fourth-round compensatory pick for him if he leaves the team. It would be silly just to trade him for a third-round pick. I would think that the scenario is package James Cook with your 30th and maybe something else to get up in that top half of the first round to get that player that you feel that you cannot do without, that won't be there at number 30 when you pick at your normal spot in the first round this year. Ralph Ventry goes on to say, Ralph from yardbarker.com, his article today, he says it's also worth noting that the Bills drafted Utah running back Zach Moss at number 86 overall in the 2020 NFL draft and traded him away in the middle of year 3. No running back drafted during Beane's tenure has received a second contract from the Buffalo Bills. Really, really interesting points from Manzano of SI and also Ventry from Yardbarker as they answer some of those questions that some of us may have or people may have as we get closer to the draft, which is now only 9 days away. And folks, we're getting ready to get into that all's quiet in the Western New York front phase before the draft happens. This is about the time when the scouts, the player personnel directors, the general manager, sometimes the ownership and coaches get in those rooms, the doors get locked, the phones get turned off, and they start discussing scenarios for the upcoming draft. So I don't expect much noise out of One Bills Drive here in the next few days as this football team gets prepared for a really, really important draft, a draft where they need to bolster this defense. They need to find a way to get impact players, starters, out of this draft, and at least viable players that can give starters a spell with production, because we all know for this football team to do what we ultimately want them to do, and that's hold up the Lombardi Trophy at the end of the season, they've got to get the defense up to the same level or close to the same level that Josh Allen, Joe Brady, and the likes have gotten that offense to in Buffalo. So once again, folks, this is the Overreaction Buffalo Daily Show. And like always, subscribe, tell your friends about it, review the show. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 Eastern time in the morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time, and 9 a.m. Central time with another episode of Overreaction Buffalo Daily. And we really appreciate you as we start this new venture in content creation here on the Overreaction Buffalo Sports Network. Folks, I appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, much love and go Bills.